don't need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
The next question comes from Ghani. Ghani is writing from Israel, and she says, "Hi, Betsy." Oh my gosh. Well, here we're on the same topic. I know you say not to mix warm and cold metals, but I sure need your advice. Here's my dilemma. We are renovating on a very tight budget. The least expensive faucets are shiny chrome, which I don't really like. To do a burnished nickel is 30% more in price. Brass or bronze are even more expensive. I would love to add some gold brass accents in the light fixtures and cabinet hardware in the kitchen and bathrooms. Can I just ignore the faucets? Like I might ignore a stainless steel appliance? Or do I have to stay shiny and chrome everywhere, including lights and hardware? What other metals can I add where I have a polished chrome faucet? Thank you, Ghani. Well, Ghani, I'm going to ask you, after hearing the answer to the last question, what can you add to polished chrome? Well, let me clarify something. Of course, we can do black metals, right? But the other thing that we can add to polished chrome is brushed nickel, is pewter. Anything in the cool metal family will do. It does not need to have the same sheen level. So when I have something shiny, like oftentimes in a bathroom, I'm mixing brushed with chrome. So like in my bathroom, for instance, right? I have a chrome light fixture above the mirror, but the vanity cabinet below the mirror has brushed hardware for the knobs. Now, in a kitchen faucet, I'm open. You can do chrome. It's going to show a lot of fingerprints. You could do brushed. It's going to not show as many fingerprints and maybe be more in alignment with your style. But to answer your question, hopefully you've solved it for yourself. When I'm working with cool metals, I would not incorporate warm metals. I would incorporate dark metal finishes. They make a lot of faucets that come in a dark metal finish. Yes, you can ignore the stainless steel appliances, but I would not ignore the faucets. So the faucets and the hardware on the cabinetry need to resonate together. And you know I love my two-tone metal finishes. There are some amazing pulls that incorporate both cool metal finishes and black metal finishes. Or if you're listening and you're going for dark metal finishes as well as warm metal finishes, there are some amazing pulls that combine those things too. So again, that's a prominently placed piece in the area that's used over and over again, depending on how many handles you have, that can make the whole space make sense if you're choosing to use silver in some areas exclusively and dark metals in other areas exclusively. But again, if your kitchen is open to the other living areas, I want you to look at the door hinges, right? I want you to look at the door knobs. I want you to contemplate the other finishes that are somewhat hard to change out in a home and create your vision from that baseline, right? You really want to be asking yourself, what's the home already doing that either I don't want to change out or I don't have the funds to change out? And how can I interpret that and work with it so it starts to align with my style? Because if you just impose your glam gold style upon this space, it's not going to look chic or sophisticated. And you can make it look chic and sophisticated, even if it's not totally your dream metal finish, by choosing things that are really more to your style, even though you've compromised on the metal, right? Ghani, there we go. It seems like I'm trying to think of some alliteration that goes with metal. That means talking. Seems like we're trying to come to a meeting of the minds with our metals, and I think we're getting pretty close. So I hope that inspired you and gave you some good strategies for moving forward as you're designing your home and working on your renovation. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.